Just playing a little instrumental right there. I figured it was perfect to come in with. We
What was you
just
playing? What you had going on?
we just rocking and rolling this morning. It is a Wednesday, but it don't seem like it. It don't seem
Does
like
it?
it at all. There we go. There we live. I see you. Coach K. All right, everybody. This is the Wednesday edition where we got our favorite coach on, and she is here. And if everybody know, we broadcasting live on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. I did have a couple people that chimed in to me and said, Ron, I don't know what's going on with your volume over there, but something just ain't right. You know, I never listened to it because I'm broadcasting. So I went out there and I checked it out, and yes, it was some things that was wrong. I fixed it this morning, and it came back. Now you sound clear. Now, can you change your looks? I said, don't push it. I said,
That's
don't
funny.
push it. You know,
They ain't like how you look, Tony. What's
no,
happening?
they were just messing with me. Some people out there, they just love giving me a hard time. But you know, it doesn't bother me because I like it. I like it because I don't care what type of criticism they give me, I correct it. And if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be on here because those are my peeps. That's my
That's
family.
right.
You know,
That's right.
if they can't
That's
come
right.
tell me something wrong, then who can? You know,
That you have to be able to accept criticism, right?
right?
And feedback. This morning I had a client here, and I'm not going to brag or anything, but she's a fellow Gemini,
Oh
So
no, here we go.
anyway, so she did her evaluation this morning, and anybody that trains with me knows that I do like to eval every 30 days, at least quarterly or twice a year, semi-annually or something, just so that we, know where you're at, what you're doing, what you got going on. So it was her eval, and she made the comment. So she is a newer client. She just began, obviously a month ago or so, and she did her eval. And when I asked her, so I asked the question, rate your eating habits, and also your fitness habit of 1 to 10. One is 10 is great, right? So she gave herself a 5, and I asked her because I ask my people to show, you can take pictures of it, you can write it down. I can help you a whole lot better if you keep up with what you eat and share it with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to hear, well, I think I had this, and whatever. Some people can do that. They're like, no, I had this, that, and this is kind of, they know what they have. But a lot of times you have some sneaky calories that you just walked by and picked up. You know what I'm saying? A bite of somebody's something or whatever, somebody's candy jar on their desk, or, whatever the case may be, right? So she gave herself a 5. I said, okay. This morning, this morning, she said, when I asked her, she said, I may have over exaggerated or given myself a little too much credit last time. She said, because once you started asking me to, keep up with it, and I asked her what certain things will get certain people on track. And one that has helped her is I asked her to eat 2 veggies a day.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's something that I feel like is so simple. However, for a person who, it really makes you look at what you've been eating, because a lot of times people only eat vegetables at dinner. I say it all the time. A lot of times people only think to eat vegetables at dinner. And
Yeah.
that's if you're eating healthy at all.
Mm.
So I thought it was a very, because I say fellow Gemini, because we're pretty reflective people. I'm just saying highly intelligent, not to brag, but
Oh boy. Coach K gonna make me
Just
slip up over
saying.
here.
Just saying. But we, as I said though, sometimes being able to reflect on your behavior. That's why journaling is such a good thing, because when you journal and you have something to look back on, like I don't journal like I used to. Had an incident, so I kind of just stopped. But I do still do my question of the day. I have a question of the day journal. It's a 5-year journal. And in that, I'm able to look back and reflect on the past 5 years, because you
Yeah.
answer a question a day. Some of them are going to be the same. Like, it's like, I can't think of, but something, it's just something silly. Like, it's like, what's your favorite thing about Halloween? I don't have one. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? It's the same for 5 years, because I still don't care. However, another question may be, where I've seen growth because I was able to track it. And that is, and that's really, like I said, leading into what I wanted to talk about. And it was just using the resources that are available to you. Um, I'm a personal trainer. And like I said, I don't always come and pitch, this is what I do and this is whatever. However, I am going to talk about it today. And it's just because sometimes you think you know what to do, but you don't. You're doing what other people are saying that they do, and that may not work for you. So it's a matter of you know saying I need assistance in this area. And what made me even think of this is Tammy and I last night. And, I was talking about perimenopause, everything me zero. It has kicked my tail this month. I realized that it really has. And just the things. And I said, you know what? I said, I stopped taking my hormone. I said, I think I'm going to start taking it again. And she said, listen to your body. If it's telling you it needs it, use it. So that's what it is. Sometimes you honestly know you have no idea of what to do. Now, I'm not saying that, because everybody don't have personal trainer money, right? But there are resources that
Okay.
you can use, to get the result. Like I said, look at all the groups, Facebook groups and so forth or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, it may come in the form of posting that question and getting some responses and deciphering from that, right? Just using the resources that are afforded to us. Um, Someone to hold you accountable. Who's holding you accountable? Maybe you just need information and you can go and do what it is that you need to do. Maybe you don't. Maybe you need somebody to say, hey, how much water have you had today, Ron? How many steps have you taken today? Just
Mm-hmm.
being held accountable for what you're doing, knowing that someone is checking up on you. Now, I was telling her, I said, I'm real like that with myself. People like, oh, you said, I'm like, no, I do good sometimes. Sometimes I don't. I said, because I'm honest with myself. I know, like the other day, I told my girlfriend, I said, yeah, I said, I'm going to go. We were going to eat, but she was like, well, you may get there for me. I said, no, because I have some other stuff to do. I said, I'm just going to eat this cauliflower real quick, take the edge off. I see you there. And she was like, mm.
Like, really?
However, for me, that is a normal thing. I don't need to remember we spoke a couple weeks ago about checking the blocks. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? I don't always need to have this a massive gourmet dish. No, sometimes I just need to check the box, eat. I don't want to leave out hungry and make the
Mm-hmm.
wrong choice. So I want a healthy, a healthy option. A lot of times, if I'm in the house, because I don't buy quick stuff. I don't
Right.
have, if I have some chips or something or whatever, honey, they are gone quick because I don't keep that stuff. So either I'm eating it or giving it away. It's gone. It's gone. But that's the thing. When someone is holding you accountable, and when I'm asking about these things and we're talking about these things, it makes you see that, huh, maybe I do snack more than what I thought I did.
Yeah.
Maybe I am not as active as I thought I was. I had somebody say, I said, well, because it's on my thing, how much sleep do you get at night? And she said, well, no, I get a good amount of sleep. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, do you? And I was like, yeah. I said, well, I said, do you wear your watch? She said, start tracking it. Because in my mind, I was listening to her. And again, someone holding you accountable. So as she's talking, and I'm not, and I'm just letting her talk. And as she's talking, I hear her say, yeah, I watched this show, this, this, this. But then she works all day here and this. Now I'm like, well, when are you watching this stuff? She was watching it at night. She's getting in the bed and she's just like watching it. So you're not going to bed at 10 o'clock, like you say. You're
Mm-hmm.
going to bed closer to midnight or after.
That's sort of funny because you say I'm going to bed at 10, but your butt not going to sleep till midnight. But I'm going to bed.
Yeah. So that's what like you said, I I I I could benefit from helping other areas. Like I said, I have somebody to come in here and help clean up. Cause dang it, I needed help. I need help in a whole lot of other areas. Let my finances get where I can afford them. I'm hiring them all.
I hear you on that one.
You know? So it's, like you said, it's a matter of, taking the help where it's needed, but also being able to reflect back and say, okay, well, maybe I wasn't doing that great. And then also able to say, well, I did have this setback, but I'm jumping back in there and using the tools.
Mm-hmm.
And this makes me, and like I said, this is why, I really just wanted just to talk about people some of my people that I feel like they're getting it. They're getting it. So, I have a client, and man, life has been hitting her hard. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's been things popping off in my life, and I don't feel like nothing like what she has going on. You know what I mean?
Mm. Yeah.
And and the other day, she's in my also in my accountability club, which again, sometimes people just need accountability. So, I check up on her at least 5 to 6 days a week. So she, life has been life, and I knew she was probably going to kind of, have a moment. Everybody, sometimes you have a moment. Remember, I mentioned how we think about food. Food is to
Yeah.
fuel your body. However, fuel is therapy for people. Food is celebration. Food is, so many things, right? And I knew probably it was going to be a little something, right? And she when I asked her how she was doing, she said, "Well, yeah, I kind of had a moment, but I'm about to plan my week, make my grocery list, and
Mm.
uh, excuse my language, she said, and make a shit list. So it's something that I do with my clients. Like I said, I do my goal is to make sure that you are all together, mind, body, and spirit. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause I realized like when I first began training, I was just worried about the body. That's all I cared about. But these women at first, I didn't really even have male clients. You know, these women, they kept coming and as they're pouring out their lives story and their frustrations about their goals and this and that and that. So you got to start working on the whole person, right?
Right.
So she said, and make her list. And I just smiled because I said she gets it. All it was that list are I have them sit and write out things that they are tired of, things that they are tired of with themselves.
Yeah.
With themselves. It's not point and blame, my husband this, my job this. No. What are you doing? Problem sometimes is in chair. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And when she said that, I said, ooh, 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 ooh. Okay, okay. She hasn't.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, so it's the resources that she paid for, she's using. You can have someone, a nutritionist, make you the bomb meal plan to help you meet all of your goals. But if you don't apply it, if you don't do it, what's happening? But you what?
Yeah.
You just paid for a piece of paper, or for what?
I don't know about you.
Because one of the things that if you are using the and collecting information, when you go and collect that information and apply it, I honestly and truly, this is one of those things that I struggle with. Sometimes I'm like, Kiana, you know what to do. Apply it. Apply it. So, I applauded her for applying the information that she had collected. You know what I mean?
You know what brings to this point right here is sometimes the easiest things for people to do is the hardest things for them to do.
Yes.
It's right there in front of them. They think of, if you could think of 10,000 excuses, you could have done it already. You know what I'm saying?
Part. That part. That part. And even if like I'm a big fan of like audio books, and I like the podcast, like the master class and stuff. I like those things because it's like I can have them playing in the background, and even sometimes if I'm not fully focused on it, I'm going to catch something that I need. You know what I mean? And when I catch whatever that is, I try and apply it. I have a book that I keep of just like things that quotes and things that just inspire me and remind me, hey, okay, you need to, this you have the information, apply it, right? Uh, I had I have I have a client when I like the one with the sleep, right? So, it came down to, yeah, she recognized that she was not she was not going to bed like she thought she was. But she also it and paying attention to it, she realized that she was eating too late.
Yeah, that point.
Because I was like, I need you to track what you're eating. She would always say, well, I do this, I do that, I do that. And I was like, can you just track it? They track it. And so she did. She started, and like I said, um, she was getting in the bed probably, about like you said, about 10ish or so forth. But she was eating her dinner probably about 8, and you're getting in the bed. All right, now if you're staying up, till X amount of time. So first we figured that out.
Yeah.
I was like, that's your problem right there. Like you're not like you're really not. So then it was like, okay, go to bed. Like say I'm gonna watch one program or so forth or whatever, but like go and then turn the TV off and go to bed.
Yeah.
So then she was like, man, she said, I'm not really falling asleep like I was. It was like, I was kind of, I was like, oh, well, okay. Well, like, what are you doing? And that's when I asked her to track her food and saw that she was eating at 8. And I said, and depending on what you're eating, it probably wasn't conducive anyway. Like it was too heavy for you to digest. You know what I'm saying? And it made it uncomfortable for you to go to sleep. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And also, I was like, I do want you to get in your water, but you don't need to get it in all before bed.
That point, because some people do that. I found myself to drink my last bottle of water between 8 and 9. Because if I drink it after that, my little narrow butt is up at 3 o'clock in the morning going to the bathroom. So I seen what I was doing, and once I adjusted that, it started working fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you got to know yourself. People can't
Mm-hmm.
tell you what to do if you don't know yourself.
Well, just pay attention to yourself. Not necessarily know yourself, but pay attention to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's something that we do enough, and that is something that I feel we're all guilty of at some point in some areas. It may not be the same for everybody,
Mm-hmm.
but we do overlook certain things. You may say, well, I didn't go to the gym today or so forth. Oh, it's no big deal. Didn't, that one time, and, oh, well, I'm going to start back fresh on Monday or so forth or whatever. What you are missing in the equation is when you gave yourself grace that one day, you gave yourself grace
The rest of the
just
way. Yeah.
the rest of the
All
time.
right. It won't hurt. One more time.
It won't hurt.
Okay. I'll do it
It won't
again.
hurt.
And then
Because what?
see the deal is you and your body needs to get into a routine. So when you start exercising, let's say Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, continue to do that because
Mhm.
that one day would disrupt the whole cycle. That's just my opinion. You know.
I think that it's good to commit to yourself. I think that, like, just by having that, that self love per se
Mm-hmm.
for yourself, and saying, what, I'm going to put myself on the calendar on this time, this time, this time. I I I am going to make sure I show up for myself like I show up for these other appointments.
Right.
I am going to show up for me. And like you said, you may not be able to afford a personal trainer. However, so you have it starts with accountability.
Right.
It starts with collecting the knowledge and applying it. you know if this is the time, this is back to school, next month. Hey, next week, Ron, are you going to be at the charge it to my head, not to my heart, man. I swear I've been calling you, but I haven't called you yet. uh
About September.
yes,
You've been
for
you've been
the fitness expo, the
you've been
fitness and
telling me
nutrition
this,
expo.
and I'm still waiting to hear from you.
I know. I know. I will talk after
Okay.
this. I got like an hour. But
You know,
but
I'm glad you looked at your watch. You said something about your watch and all that. Mine is set for well, I got it set for 10,000 steps a day, which is
mhm.
way above what I'm going to do. But it keeps me in check. I can monitor what I'm doing. I also got it set so make sure I get my 8 hours of sleep. So here I am. I'm out on time, and my watch beep at 8 o'clock. I said, "What's that?" It's bedtime. I said, "It's bedtime." You go to bed. I said, "I gotta get 8 hours of sleep in," and that's what it does. But that has been thrown to the side because my wife is out every evening over her mom's house because she's sick and stuff. So she goes there to midnight. Well, like a good husband, I make sure I'm up and everything's taken care of, listen to her what she needs and all that stuff. So my thing is thrown all out of whack. But I make up for naps during the day. I'm not gonna lie to you. But it is see, so my body was so used to going to bed at a certain time. And now if I get up and go out and just to community stuff, you know what these fools, my so called friends will do? As soon as
Mm.
I tune in, look at the watch. You know it's past your bedtime. Huh? But you know, that's my routine and my body knows the routine.
Yes. And that's the thing. It is finding the rhythm that works for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what instruments work for in your band? You know what I'm saying? What tools that help you along that you need in your tool chest? Because they may be different from mine.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Personally, I I I I have to get back in the habit. I was tired of them, so I haven't like really been eating them personally. But like talking about sleep. So there are some foods that I do try or I just try and have, especially maybe as my last meal, to help me with just sleeping. I mean, like I said, I'm perimenopausal, so sometimes I sleep, sometimes it's a little rough, you know what I mean? But I've recognized that now,
Yeah.
you know. So sometimes, like if uh especially depending on what time I've ate my dinner, because sometimes, like you said, if it's pretty early, because it's like before I start back for the evening, so it's like a break.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I eat late, then you know what I mean. So if I eat late, I always go for usually like walnuts.
Yeah.
And I go for walnuts because they actually have a uh is it melatonin or something in there, I read? Like they're really good to eat like before bed. Like if you Google it, it's like because like I don't eat cherries, like tart cherries. They say bananas. Anybody who's come to me knows I'm not really a banana person. I think I used to eat them, but even still, bananas have a lot of sugar in them, so I'm just it's not kind of my
Yeah.
thing. But almonds, like I said, walnuts,
Mm-hmm.
things like that are good. Like you said, to have like part of your last meal, snack, or so forth, because it aids in good sleep actually.
Mm.
So I think that, like you said, having sleep, a healthy sleep pattern makes a world of difference. You
Yes.
know what I mean? Makes a world of difference. Um, I think that when we are when we are picking and choosing our foods, I've talked about it before. You know, like I was just saying about eat maybe putting these foods in that aid in good sleep. Think about what you're putting into your body.
Mm-hmm.
One of my clients this morning, she said, "Yeah, I don't really eat cheese anyway because my body doesn't react well to it." Pay attention to that. You know, no, may some people like they red meat and so forth. can't do it. You know,
Yeah.
you just can't do it, right? Dairy, just can't do it. Whatever it is that your body is telling you that this is not what we need, then that's not what we need. Now, people do that with food groups, mentioning, like I said, dairy, can't eat this, can't eat that. But they don't think of it when it comes to just like regular food, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go and eat this hot pocket, or this Whataburger, or you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
These chicken nuggets. The girl, and I've had several, of course, several clients over the years say this. But once I started asking them to track what they were eating, they didn't realize how much they eat out, how little
Oh,
that they eat.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, let's pay attention to how our bodies react to the food. Because I bet you, if I tell you, I had Chick-fil-A. I have Chick-fil-A quarterly because I like their grilled chicken club, and I like their waffle fries and
Mm-hmm.
their strawberry lemonade. That right there is a whole lot for me. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And just being honest, Ron, and I didn't, only reason that I ate that was because I had exhausted all my snacks out of my snack bag that I carry with me. And I was still out and I was going down fast, because
Yeah.
one thing, true story, like you said, pay attention to how your body reacts. When I eat like I'm supposed to, I'm a lot hungrier because I'm not eating as heavy. I'm eating like I'm
Mm-hmm.
supposed to. I'm eating light and so forth and whatever, right? So I ate that. Oh my gosh, I felt terrible. It was delicious.
Yeah.
It was delicious. However, I felt terrible. And I
Mm.
said, this is why this is a quarterly thing. Because it, I should, I just, but again, imagine if I was to ignore how I was feeling and just savor the delicious part.
Yes.
See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I could take that same experience and say, "Woo, this was good. I'm gonna get me one of them tomorrow."
That's right.
No, no, I did not do
Yep.
that. Quarterly, and just being honest, it may have to be far. I really was like, "Oh my gosh!" But you know what it was? I tell you what it was. So I get the lemonade, the strawberry lemonade, but I never really. I may drink maybe a quarter of it, maybe. But I was walking around the mall and I had the cup. So I kept on drinking. That's what it was.
Mm.
Those extra sips of sugar and so forth, whatever, it just sent it over the top with the bread from the sandwich, the fries, you see what I'm
Yes.
saying? And just all of it collectively just made me feel bad.
Yeah.
However, I
It,
could have chose to
yeah.
ignore that.
But it will do
But
that because some mornings, I wake up and I feel like I got a hangover, and I didn't drink, and I started going back. What did I eat down the line? And
mhm.
found out once I went back, some of this stuff had a little bit too much sugar in it, and I feel like I had a hang. I said, well, I need to leave that alone. I thought it was fine. So your
Mhm.
body will tell you if you stop doing certain things, and like you said, your body go into shock. But once it get used to it, then you go back and try it again. Your body said, "Now, didn't I tell you about this last time? Now I'm gonna make you feel bad. Let you think about it."
That part. Tell the truth, shame the devil.
Yeah.
Because I tell you, I just, it was good. But I honestly was like, yeah, this is something that I don't necessarily need.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and just being honest, I think that if we paid attention, to our foods and how our bodies responded on a regular basis, I don't think half of the people would be overweight like they
Yeah.
are. Because, like you said, they're savoring the flavor. They're
Mm-hmm.
savoring that one moment of those happy endorphins that they get when they
Mm-hmm.
have it. You see what I'm saying? And versus the bloatedness that they
Yeah.
feel post that event, and the gas and the
Mm-hmm.
heartburn and then again the weight gain, you
Mm-hmm.
know because if you keep on choosing foods that your body is not responding to, yeah, something's gotta happen, you
Yeah.
know something's gotta happen. But again, this is if you have the ability to hold yourself accountable.
Accountable.
If you do not, seek out some guidance,
Mm-hmm.
a podcast, a group. You know what I said I'm gonna do, Ron?
What's that?
Because I didn't know until recently that Weight Watchers, they don't hold groups anymore. Like they said, like post COVID, they said they don't hold groups anymore. And I have been wanting to do something like that for a long time. Just because I truly am rooting for everybody that comes through my space. You don't even have to be a client. If we've had a conversation and I remember it and remember you,
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you, so what's up with that? How's that going? You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
mean, even it could be even that you want to do a business or something like that. Because remember, mind, body, spirit with me. When I have people that come and buy, Spark, and we sit here and we chat, we're talking about our goals. Just and that
Mm-hmm.
time we formed, our relationship. That no, know that sometimes, yeah, it's good to have a little accountability wherever you can get it,
That's right.
wherever you can get it.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely, I want to see people get the results that they want, but not in a fast, like a overnight type thing that I think that
Mm-hmm.
most people are seeing with these weight loss drugs and so forth, which is why like I said, I do the expo next month, because we want to talk about these things, but I do think that just when you have like for real support, again, the information, to apply and so forth, that you'll do better. So I'm gonna work on that. I want to put together, a Coach K's, what I'm saying, weight loss something, or just but a support group,
Right.
and where we meet. So where we meet, and of course, like you said, I like in person, but I'm also, of course, I have to keep in mind I have clients everywhere, so
Mm-hmm.
can't leave them out. So but I definitely would like to do so. And it's just because, again, one, you need, when you're on your own, like, fitness, weight loss, healthy lifestyle journey or so forth, you need to make sure that you're around like-minded people, you
Mm-hmm.
know, because not everybody is on the same path as you. So make sure that when you're making your choices, again, somebody invite me to something, all right, cool. If it's food, if it's like bring something, they already know what I'm bringing. A veggie tray.
Yep.
You don't even have to guess. So I guess, look, and I was going to invite her, but all right, yeah, no, that's what I'm showing up with.
That's it. Y'all have all that fried stuff on your one. I got veggies.
I just in case I need it to be something that I know I'm going to eat, and so forth. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, but being around like-minded people, being supported, celebrating other people's wins,
Yeah.
and so forth. Like you said, clap when you see others win because you're gonna be there too. So
Exactly.
I definitely feel like finding someone to truly hold you accountable, but not in a way that it is a deterrent. So I say I have a client where her son, he was coming with her for a little while, and then I recognized that he really didn't want to. He was not like really in it. I told her stop bringing him, and again,
Yeah.
and like I told her, and I told her this a couple weeks ago. I said, at the time, not that I don't need it now, but at the time, I really couldn't afford to let any clients go. But I just didn't want her to continue to waste her money, and I did not want his attitude towards fitness and so forth to become solid to
Yes.
where he, would, detest it or something in the
Mm.
future, and fast forward to now. Here he's going to the gym, talking about his gains, and
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
getting it in. Look, he eating like he's supposed to. But imagine if continued pressure had been on him, you know what I'm saying, to just do it when he didn't want to. He wasn't ready.
Yeah.
Remember, you have to be ready.
That's
You
right.
have to be ready. So I say, please do. When you're sick and tired or getting sick and tired, seek out somebody to hold you accountable, so that way you can meet your goal. Because it is hard to do alone.
Yeah.
It's hard to do alone, and that's the more to the message, I guess, of of my segment today is it's hard to do alone.
You're right.
You know, if you are trying to drop weight, get rid of weight, if you're trying to just eat healthier, if you just are unhealthy in general, have some diseases of heart disease, diabetes, whatever, you can control a lot of that through your diet and exercise.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, if
Yeah.
that's where you are, because you gotta be sick and tired
I'm being
of
sick and
being sick and
tired.
tired.
You know, before we go, I got to I was watching TV a couple weeks ago. I don't know if it was out of Canada or Australia. It was a fitness deal on there, which was just one guy got 100 people and told them he's got this miracle pill. You don't have to exercise or anything. Guaranteed to lose 50 pounds in 1 month. I'm saying, who is going to go for that? 100 people went for it. So they had to pay amount of money. I forget how much it was. So they gave him a pill, of the pills to take for 30 days. Half of them came back, felt that they lost weight. They felt good about themselves. They lost weight. They weighed them. They didn't lose anything. If anything, they gained maybe a pound or two. It was a
Hmm.
survey this guy was doing just to prove don't believe all that stuff out there. And they
Mm.
refunded the money back to him. They just want to show him how
Mm.
easy it is to manipulate people to think it's a miracle pill out here for you to take to lose weight. And I thought that was mighty interesting that he
Yeah.
did that. And nobody lost any weight at all for 30 days. Not the 50 pounds that was promised is going to leave.
Wow. Now that's interesting.
So people out there are looking for that miracle pill, and it's not one out there. It's called. It took you 20, 30 years to put that on. It's not going to take 30 days to take it off.
That's right. That's right.
So
And and like you and I was actually watching a documentary on The Biggest Loser,
yes,
right? And they had taken it off. They had all this controversy on it, said it messed up their metabolism, people metabolism rates and so forth, because they were losing it so fast and so forth or whatever. You know, but the guy said something. One of the one of the winners who has definitely gained back that and more, of course, because he lost weight. He didn't get rid of weight, just
Yeah.
saying. But he said,
Ooh, what happened? I just lost Coach K. Where did Coach K go? I bet her phone died. She'll jump back on in a few minutes, I hope. But she was talking about the Biggest Losers, and I remember watching those programs myself too. And she is right, because someone will lose that weight and then come back and gain it all over again. You know, so there she is.
"Hello."
Yeah, we lost you.
Oh, I was like, "Oh, what?"
I said she'll be back.
Yeah, and you know what? I think just like I noticed it yesterday. I think the Wi-Fi has been messed up. I should have took off the Wi-Fi off the phone and just
Okay.
used the signal. When think about it.
Yeah. So
But
we were talking
I
about
don't
the
even know.
Biggest
Oh, I
Loser.
was talking about the Biggest Loser.
Yeah.
Let me see. There you go. We back?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I believe it's the Wi-Fi. Sorry, guys. But anyway, so look. They were talking about the Biggest Loser and the guy, the one of the people who had won. Of course, again, he's gained all that weight back plus some because he lost it, didn't get rid of it. You know how I feel about that. So he said, if he said post the show, he said there was nothing. There was no resources, no anything to help maintain that. You know what I'm saying? And I thought about it and I said, how 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 much more successful would they have been if they were afforded that?
Yeah.
Most of them had to go and they did the Ozempic and so forth or whatever. That's what they ended up, if they still are, kept the weight off. But
Yeah.
most of them went that route. How it just really reinforced for me the importance of accountability and having like for real resources.
Mm-hmm.
It just, I mean, honestly and truly, because all of they showed majority of the people had gained all the weight back.
See.
But that was 2 months. Some of these people were losing almost 200 pounds in 2 months. Come on.
That takes a toll on your body.
It takes a toll on your body. And then it was the thing, because Jillian Michaels or so forth or whatever, she got into it because they said that she was giving the people uh I remember those stackers or so forth. It was like a weight loss supplement that helps
Mm-hmm.
speed your metabolism up. And which again, I've never really been a fan of any of that. It took me a long time to even begin to look at a supplement in any way, and for the most part my supplements are like powdered greens or like you know what I'm saying. I'm not real big into I do love my now I because I am an advocate. I used it years ago to help me get back on track, the like weight loss system. I did it like twice or so forth, and their cleanse and that type of thing. But I still use I like the catalyst. I call it and that's what I call it. I call it like weight loss in the bottle. Just because it's what it does is it takes your we want our energy to come from and burn fat, but it doesn't. It usually is burning muscle, but
Mm-hmm.
this makes it burn fat instead of muscle. So, but otherwise, yeah, no,
Yeah.
I really want you to, try and instead of going for that burger, like you said, go for the, grilled, chicken salad or something, or,
Mm-hmm.
because that's where you're going to see it. And the only way that you're going to do those things, if you don't have the self control to do it yourself, is to find you somebody to hold you accountable.
Amen to
Don't
that.
do it alone.
Right. I.
Don't try. It's very hard to do it alone. Get you a group. Get you some coworkers. Get you something or whatever, and somebody that y'all all chip in. Maybe y'all got a little pot going. Whoever lose the most weight, y'all collect $5 a week, and they win. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it is, but try not to do it alone. Success comes sometimes in numbers.
Right.
It starts with you of being sick and tired
Of being sick
of
and
being
tired.
sick and tired.
Yes, I agree.
And then it comes with getting the information, the resources, and application. That's that.
Yep.
That's that. Don't do it alone, folks. Don't do it alone.
All
It's a
right.
lot harder alone.
My favorite coach, Coach K. Look at her doing her thing. um,
I'll do something.
before you go, let everybody know again how can they get a hold of you and website.
Well, we are at wannagofit.com. That's WANNA, gofit.com. Hit us up at info@wannagofit.com or call us. We're on social media, YouTube, all that good stuff. If you're in San Antonio, September 20th at the Moed Center from 10 to 2, our third annual Fitness and Nutrition Expo. Man, this one is going to be a good one. I'm excited about the panels. So
Mm-hmm.
this is like my first time really doing a panel in this segment, because usually I only do it in the first one and the last one.
Right.
But I feel like just like the weight loss, drugs and so forth. And
Mm-hmm.
people have questions, you know what I'm saying? People have
Right.
questions. So we want to make sure that we get them the information and have, the ability to ask the questions. Plus, we got some fun fitness demos. I'm excited about it.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about, Coach K.
I am. I
All right,
am.
young lady. We appreciate you coming on this morning, and we'll catch you in 2 weeks.
2 weeks, guys.
All right.
Have a good one. Ron, my head and my heart and my mouth is going to catch up with the phone.
Okay. Not all at once going to be gibberish. I'm just kidding. All right. We'll talk to you later.
Guys,
All
have a
right.
great day.
All right. Peace.
Recording stop.
All right, everybody. That's our favorite coach, Coach K, right here on WSAN Radio. I love when she comes on the show. She got so much stamina. She's just right there for you.